What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have some big information to go over here in this video revolving around Sofi stock. Sofi is up about 6% today. There is a lot of news that we must cover and go over, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's get into it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the most up-to-date and informative information that you need to know around Sofi stock if you are a Sofi investor or looking to become one. So let's talk about what is going on today. Sofi is doing a lot better than a lot of other stocks, and as you guys can see, this S&P 500 is down about 1.44%. So to see Sofi up 6% is definitely outperforming the broad markets, and this is likely the run-up heading into earnings and the effect from Square. Square had very positive earnings. They were up 26% on Thursday, and that definitely did help Sofi out. Sofi is sitting at $11.30 per share, so we're definitely far off this low of $8.82, and I don't really expect to see Sofi going under $10 per share unless the earnings are just very bad for whatever reason. I don't think that is going to be the case, but the thing you have to watch for Sofi is how much money are they spending relative to that advertisement gain that they are getting, right? If Sofi is spending $1 billion on advertisements, throwing numbers out here, and they're making $2 billion because of that, that's very good. If Sofi is spending $1 billion on advertisement and making $1.3 billion, not so good. Investors will not like that. So I think that's the biggest thing when it comes down to Sofi. What's the guidance? What are they expecting as far as new users to their app, to their programs? And what kind of money are they spending? What kind of return are they getting? So that's a brief rundown of what investors are going to expect. As far as Sofi, you might or might not be surprised to see a positive order value of 72% by institutional investors. 22 orders for the day, totaling $2.73 million. So that is definitely a bullish sign heading into earnings, because the last thing you're going to do if you're not bullish on a stock is buy a bunch of calls heading into their earnings day. So very good. This is all looking very good as far as that is concerned. As far as these shorts, 17.39%, cost borrow max of 1.9%, utilization of 100%, and days to cover at 2.99. The reason I go over this is because you are very prone to see a short squeeze if earnings are good for Sofi stock. You've seen the markets coming down. You see that banks are getting clapped today, and that is because a lot of them have exposure to Russia, and if they do, they just took a big hit on their investments. So that is very important to point out and keep up to date with that. But as we know, Sofi is not your typical just short squeeze trade. You're not bagging on a short squeeze if you're investing in Sofi. So pretty interesting information right there. As far as some of the other data that you guys need to know, the rate expectations, that's very important. And you can see that yesterday the probability of a 0.5% rate hike was 24%. And the probability now is only 10.4%. So this should have caused a very bullish move today, but it did not, likely because of the headlines that we have been getting. And the headlines are not all too pretty. They're essentially saying, hey, you guys are going to pay for these sanctions, and that probably means restricting oil, hopefully not militarily, but, it's definitely not a good sign. But take a look at this video. This has nothing to do with Sofi or Sofi earnings, but it's wild. They threw a Molotov cocktail at a tank. Wild, but kind of cool, so I did want to show you guys. Now, as far as other things you guys need to know, including the ruble is clapped. It's went from about 75 rubles per $1 per US dollar now to 104. So everything is clapped. Anything involving Russia is clapped. We're gonna have to wait and see how sanctions work. If we do start to see, obviously, oil sanctions, stuff like that, that's gonna have a big impact, and the ruble just jumped up a lot. So any companies that are tied to that are definitely going to feel the pain. S&P, everything is feeling the pain today. We do have a lot of Fed speakers as well as economic data that is coming out tomorrow as well as on Wednesday. The most important thing to know is going to be the Fed Chair Powell testimony and that's at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Why is that so important? Because if the Fed wants to change directions, they've been very clear about what they plan to do. So if they want to switch something up, Fed Jerome Powell is probably going to talk about that in his testimony to Congress, to the Senate on Wednesday. So that's going to cause a very volatile move in one direction or the other. Obviously, I don't know exactly what direction that will be because the Fed is very hard to calculate. But with the oil prices going up so much, with the uncertainty in the markets, you're probably going to see a directional shift in one way or the other, and that's going to affect SoFi very much. Now, a SoFi specific technical analysis, watch that $10 price. That's important to the downside. If we do have bad earnings, you're likely to see us come back down to that $10 roughly price. If we have good earnings, we could go to $14 per share. That's really what I do expect. The volume has been good. MACD is trying to go bullish as well, so we will have to wait and see what happens with that. And ultimately, everything comes down to earnings. We have Lucid earnings as well in after hours today, and that's another more retail stock, so that could definitely make the sentiment turn one way or the other for SoFi to the bullish or potentially to the bearish side. Markets very volatile today, definitely at the lower end range for the day. I believe approaching that low. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that does play out by the end of the day and what happens over the coming days. Ukraine, Russia, they did have talks as well today, and they are planning on having more talks in the next couple of days. But, you know, negotiating with the Russians is not a very popular thing, and they don't really, you know, they're not faithful with their negotiation. So I wouldn't expect too much out of that. It definitely looks like we're facing a more bullish skew to the markets for the short to midterm, but SoFi just does not care. So definitely helping the portfolio look a little bit better today. Another key level, coming back to the technicals real quick, we have to break out above this 20-day moving average, which is at $11.83 per share. We went up and we tested $11.76 per share. So if we can break out above that, maybe by the end of the day today, if not intraday trading tomorrow, that could be good for SoFi earnings as well. So that's going to be all for this video. That is a brief recap and rundown of what is going on today, what to expect heading into the future. Fed Jerome Powell, he's going to be the main key, and like I said, other economic factors that are coming out this week, but none of them are really important considering we have the Fed on Wednesday. That's going to be the main key to everything. Watch to see how the situation does develop, but good thing for you, if you are buying shares in SoFi, eventually you will make a lot of money. Not financial advice, but I think the fundamentals support what I am saying as far as that is concerned. So thank you guys for watching. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.